Hey there everyone, Hitesh here, back again with another video, and in today's video we're going to learn how to do web scraping using Node.js. This web scraping is a bit more onto the production level side. So what's the difference between the production side and when we are just making a simple tutorial? In the production side we get a little bit cautious. That means our script should produce less of the error. We try to take care of that, and taking care of that in the web scraping is really a tough thing. So we'll be using Node.js. The only thing that you need for this entire walkthrough to walk along with me is Node.js should be installed on your system. Rest all I'll take care here. Okay, so what is the plan? So we want to have a simple link as a web scraping, and from that we'll be extracting some of the information. Now, in order to make it more useful, we will be not only just extracting that information, but we will also throw that information in a CSV file, comma separated value file, also can be opened up in the Excel or can be read by Python or for any other purpose that you want to do. Once all the information is being pulled up and is being thrown into CSV file, it's much more helpful. Later on, we're going to craft or modify this application so that it can take input as an array and multiple links can be provided to it so that more information can be extracted. So there's a lot that we are going to learn here. Also, we're going to learn a lot about the request as well, that whenever you fire a request on the web page, what comes back and what are the things you need to take care while doing the web scraping. And we are choosing the all-time favorite IMDb because there is a lot that we can learn here, and we're going to learn a little bit more on why this website is ridiculously fast. So we're going to take care of all of that. I hope you are all excited and all ready. If you are, just let me know in the comment section, and if you want more, see more such videos, let me know in the comment section. I would love to craft more such mini project-ish video for all of you. Love to do that. So make sure you hit that subscribe and let's get started with that. First and foremost, let's talk about NPM. So we'll be installing a Node, or we will be using Node. So we need to talk a little bit on to the libraries that we'll be using. We will be using Cheerio in this particular case. There are many others as well. If you wish, we can make videos on that if you will request that in the comment section, but this time we'll keep things easy and we'll use Cheerio. So Cheerio is pretty easy. You can kind of store everything into this $, which is very jQuery-ish, and we can load the entire web page or element into it, and then we can use almost jQuery-like syntax. So h2.title, grab the text and stuff like that. So that's why I love this one here. And we can use the entirety or the knowledge of jQuery or JavaScript-ish thing, and we can just go ahead and grab that. So we'll be using this Cheerio. I highly recommend to try to just have a look on this and something. Now, another package that we will be using is going to be request. Now, the problem with the request is that it's being deprecated. So we'll see these messages here, but another bit of a strange thing that I noticed here, that another package, which is a request promise, which is built on top of the request, is still working and is absolutely fine. I am pretty sure they're going to modify things later on, but as of now, this is all good, very popular. And if things change, we'll make another video for that. Okay, so we can see this is how we grab the request promise. And in order to have it, first we need to have an installation of both request and request promises. It's being deprecated, still it requires that. And then we can go ahead and do all the requesting. Interestingly, the thing that we are most interested is that how these options are being used. So we can provide all the header options so that it doesn't look like header options are important when you are doing web scraping. If you're not providing accurate web headers, then it's going to look like that, hey, somebody's trying to do scripting. It might block your IP or can even go into legal section as well. This reminds me, a disclaimer. I'm telling all of this is as just for learning purposes. Web scraping is exactly on the line where it can fall into the legal stuff, non-legal stuff. So make sure you're absolutely cautious. Talk to the team that we want to use your data. It's their data. You're using it for your own benefit. Be cautious. It can land up into trouble. Right now, this is all just educational. So here you can notice that we have got this JSON, true, and all those. If you'll read this documentation more, you'll realize that they support a whole lot of attributes here, and these attributes are important if you want to do web scraping on at least on IMDb or many other such website. So go ahead and read that a little bit. So this is what we'll be using. Another package that we are going to be using is JSON to CSV, and not JSON 3 CSV, JSON 2 CSV. Now this is the one that we'll be using. It's a ridiculously simple JSON converter. It exists in almost all languages, not this one, but there is some version of it. And you can install it by saying JSON to CSV, And then you can provide an array to it and can convert anything into this kind of a syntax. There is a lot that it can do, colors and stuff. We'll not be going into that. So these are the 3 or 2 packages that we will be using. Okay. Now coming on to what we'll be scraping, the first and foremost thing is to extract the data. And usually I prefer to extract the data first in the browser and then try to put some loops or conditional over it. So that's exactly what we'll be doing here. Moving forward, first and foremost, right click and inspect. And this is what we have got. The Chrome inspect element tools are absolutely awesome. I love them. So we'll be extracting some of the information. First and foremost, we're going to grab the title. Let's go ahead and click on how this title is going to look like. There we go. So the title is here and we can see there is this title, but more importantly, there is a division at the top which says title wrapper. I'm pretty sure that's going to be unique. And then inside this, there is an H1, and inside that there is the title which we are looking forward. So how we can grab this title? We're going to be using jQuery syntax. So we're going to be saying $ and then pair of parentheses. And here we want to write our selector on which we can latch on. Now selector can be whole in itself a crash course that I can talk on, but right now I'll show you enough that you get a little bit hands to it. But again, just search for jQuery selectors or CSS selectors. You'll get pretty good in that eventually. So how we're going to grab the title? So first and foremost, I want to select an element div. This div has a special property that I'm looking up for. It has a class that is equals to something. What is that something? Let's grab this one. It has a class of title underscore wrapper. So I'll grab this one here. And then once I'm outside of this, then it's not just this is the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for its child. The child uses this arrow. So anything you can pick up, it's the child. Similar syntax are for on the same level or the brothers. This is the child one. I want to grab an H1 of it and I can grab a text of it. So there we go. And there we go. But the problem is it is giving me some of the empty spaces as well. No big deal. We can easily get rid of that by saying trim, not trip, trim. There we go. So there we go. This looks great and nice. So now I'm going to just grab all of this. We'll copy that. And we'll go on to, I'll be using VS Code in a minute, but right now there is never a day where Sublime Text goes away. So we're going to be putting up, this is my title selector, and I'll just put it here. So expand this. There we go. So this is my title selector. Next, I'm going to select the rating. So let's go ahead and grab that. So rating, there we go. So rating, how we're going to grab that, we can see again, there is a div, which is having this rating value. And then I can latch on to this strong tag. And under this strong tag, there's this span tag. So we can actually latch on to this one to grab the exact rating. Let's give it a try. So again, $, parentheses, quotes. I want to grab a div, which is going to have a class, which is going to be equal to, oops, not that, equal to, I didn't copy it. I'm going to be copying this div here, which is going to have a rating value. Copy that. And there we go. Rating value. Okay. What else do we need to grab? We need to grab, let's find it out. The div is having a strong and then we are having a span. Let's give it a try. So this is going to have a strong and inside that there is a tag that is span. And I want to grab the text out of it. There we go. Perfect. No need to even trim that. So I'm going to just copy this one. This is grabbing me the rating. So rating, that's going to be equal to, there we go. Okay. What more information? I would love to get a summary too. I love to grab in almost every scrapper that I've designed for IMDb. I've always grabbed the summary in that for even personal purposes. So this is my summary text and we can latch it on by saying plot summary and then summary text. But as you can see, the summary text is unique. The credit is getting repeated many times, but this summary text is actually unique in itself. So we can latch on it directly, but IMDb changes that quite a lot. So if you can write a little bit extended of the syntax, that's always necessary, or it's good, not necessary. Okay, again, we are going to go like that. What are we looking up for? We're looking for a div, which is having a direct summary text as the title here. So let's grab a div. and he is going to have a property which says class is going to be equal to summary text, and grab the text out of it. Oh, we need definitely a trimming of that. Trim, there we go. Looks awesome. So this one is going to grab me the text. Now I'm going to show you one more thing which you might be bothering about. First, let's grab a summary. This is the summary selector. Okay. A lot of time people say that what you can do is you can shorten these things up by just putting up this guy here, and you want to select this, right click and click on a copy, and then there is XPath selector as well as there's copy selector. You can also go for that. Yes, of course you can go that. In fact, sometimes to save some time I use this, but the problem is there that if I go ahead and select this selector, now see how big this selector is. It surely is going to work. But remember this, how big this one is. And what we have written is much more compact and actually much more readable here. This one is not that much. Surely you can go for that. In some cases, I prefer XPath selector, which is a query selector. But I think this is not really something that I would like to go for. I would rather like to write a customized if possible. So again, there is too much of it. Come on, get deleted. Oh, there we go. So what information we have got? We got title, rating, and summary. What else? Let's grab release date as well. You can grab any information like this. If information is multiple like these one, we can just design an array and can select in it and push the values in it. No big deal. We can select any of that. Okay. So how this one is going to get grab? Interestingly, this anchor tag is always having a title which says see more release dates. So we can latch on it directly. I've checked it out already. This is actually pretty unique, and it's rarely a situation that you find a unique, but you can use a little bit of the regular expression here that in the href, if you find something like release info, then you can grab for it. And there are a lot of ways. We can definitely make a bit of advanced tutorial for that, but let's keep it easy this time. So what we're going to do is, again, let's go ahead and $, and let's grab this guy. Oops, not like that. There we go. So how do we go on to grab or latch on it? Div. And in this div, was it a div? Was it a div? No, it was just an anchor tag, which is having a title in this information. Okay. So not this one. Let's delete that. So I want to grab an A tag this time, which is having a title. And the title is going to be equal to, there we go, exactly that. And I want to grab a text out of it. And I need to trim that because there is a line break that's coming up. So I'm going to say trim. There we go. And perfectly. So this one is going to be the information. Copy that. And the final, that is release date. And the selector is there we go. So nice. All the things are absolutely ready for us. If you have more information, just grab this and we can extract more information from here. I'll just keep it that here only. Now let's grab this guy here, and I'll drag and drop my empty folder here, which is YouTube IMDb. I'll link that in the description section as well, so that you can grab all of these exercise files as well. No big deal. I'll fire up the command terminal and I'll say npm init to initialize, and make sure before you do that, make sure node is installed. So if I say node-v, it should give me some of the version. Doesn't matter what version, but something should be returned here. Now npm init, we'll be saying -y to not ask me any questions and just give me this file. Okay, so these are the things that we have got up here. Now, interestingly, what we are going to grab is all the libraries that we are going to need. So I'll go up onto the website and grab it there from. I know all of these, but I need one, which is request promise. Okay, so we are going to be grabbing request promise because sometimes I misspell that. So we'll be grabbing that. Let's go ahead and install all of it. So npm install and request promise. We're going to grab request as well. What else do we need? We need Cheerio for sure. Cheerio. And of course we need JSON. Come on. JSON to CSV. So let's go ahead. JSON to CSV. Looks great. Do we need anything else? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and run that. And we will be creating a file, but the FS module or the file system module is default available in the node. We can just go ahead and work on that. As of now, there is nothing. So it says you can create an index.js and work on it. Yes, of course, I would love to create that. I'll be saying index.js. There we go. First and foremost, let's bring all the stuff here. So first and foremost, we're going to call a request, and you can name it a bit shorter as well. I'm going to call it request anyway. And that's going to be coming up from not request. We need require. Come on. There we go, require. And that's going to be coming up from request promise. Remember, request is being deprecated. We're going to need Cheerio as well. So Cheerio. And that's going to say require. And again, that's going to be coming up from Cheerio. We will need file system as well. So file system is going to be coming up from require fs. File system to create a file, which we'll be creating of a format CSV. This reminds me, we need to bring CSV as well. So we'll be calling it as JSON to CSV. Yeah, we can just call it like that way. And we are going to grab it. So require. The name is JSON to CSV. And of course, we need to parse the information from an array. So make sure you call this like this way. Again, it is mentioned in the documentation. Okay, so how we're going to do that? First and foremost, I'm going to create a simple constant here, which is going to be called as movie. And this is going to hold a whole syntax or the URL that I need to request. Now, this brings us to another information that you should know, that whenever you're making a web request, it's not just about, in the production grade especially, it's not just about having these information that you can pull it up. You also need to go into the network tab and have a lot more in detail information. Let me try to hit a reload on this IMDb so that you can see what's going on. As you can see, a whole lot of network information is going on, but usually the very first of the network information is the important one. Remember, the URL is exactly the same that we are grabbing here. So this request is being made. You need to understand that not only the response header, you have to make a choice here about the request header. The more exact request header you are going to send in your request, then less likely the chance that you're going to get your IP blocked or something like that. It should really look like that there's an original request being made from a browser. So all these information are important and necessary. I won't be copy pasting all of it, but I have seen many people just copying exactly all of this information. And the most important information that we need as of now are all these except information for the language. The browser information is also usually necessary, but not much. So I'm going to be just copying this all information in a minute, and we'll be doing that. Another thing I would like to point your attention here is on the response. You need to understand that what kind of response you are getting back. So let me try to find the information which I'm looking up for in the response header. It's going to take a couple of seconds, so just wait. There we go. In the response header, don't worry, I'll zoom it up for you. So in the response header, remember the content encoding. This is the most important information you should be looking up for. It says that the content encoding is not your regular UTF-8. It sometimes is a JSON encoding, sometimes it is gzip. So what IMDb is doing, it's gzipping the entire content and throwing up on your browser where it is being extracted. So that makes it ridiculously fast as a website. Even the images and everything are being gzipped. This is a crucial information, and make sure you spend your enough of time in the headers of the request so that you can grab all of it. So enough of the theory. Let's go ahead. First and foremost, I'll copy this with all this information. I'd like to put the movie here. We are going to transform that into an array of movies and all these things later on, but right now this is all what we need. Now, making a web request usually is an asynchronous operation, so we need to understand how we can run an asynchronous operation. In a project itself, there are usually the triggers which does it. Maybe on the loading things, I could have been working in React where automatically as it loads up, it does the job, but right now we'll be manually firing that. So how do you define a method with no name? So let's just say we define it like that, and there we go. So this is my method having no name at all. So how do you run that method immediately? You just put a parenthesis. There we go. You have run this immediately. Now, apart from that, what's going to happen is in order to run this entire method immediately, we have to make it asynchronous too. And right now, this is not a proper syntax of running it. So we need to make this again inside a pair of parentheses. Now, whatever this callback method is without any name can be run directly by using this pair of parentheses. I know, a little bit weird syntax, but we do these kinds of trickeries sometimes. If you make it want to run asynchronously, then you can simply say that I want to run it asynchronously. And there we go. This is a bit weird syntax, so just make sure you kind of rewind it a little bit and watch it again. Remember, let me show you again one more time. So first and foremost, how do you define a simple callback method? That's how we define it. So how do you run it immediately? First and foremost, you just kind of pack it because it's a 1 unit. So there we go, we packed it up and we run that immediately. And if you want to do it asynchronously, then we simply add async, and there we go. Your method is now asynchronous. And as soon as the flow of the code reaches here, it's going to just work it nicely there. Okay. So first and foremost, we are having a whole lot of information. So let's go ahead and create an array, imdb data, however you want to name it. There we go, empty. We'll be pushing up all the information in this array. Remember, our JSON to CSV expects an array to be passed on, and it can convert that array into a CSV object. So that's why we are creating this array. Then after that, I would simply like to create a response. Remember, the response is coming up. The response is going to be coming up from the request. So where is my, there we go, the Cheerio. So we will be using this, not Cheerio, we'll be using this request to create that. So let's create a response here. So what is this exactly, the response? This response is going to be the data that comes up when this request library makes a request to this URL. Okay, makes it clear. Okay, so we got a response, and then since this is async, we'll be throwing up an await request here. Now this request, as I said, mentioned that you need to provide as much as information as we can. We saw that there in the request response web page as well. So let's go ahead and provide some of the information. First and foremost, it requires you to have a URI object, which is the URL where you want to make a request. In this case, that's going to be simply movie. After that, you provide some of the headers as well. So there we go. All the header information goes up here. And most importantly, then you mention is the exact type that you are expecting, which is the content type. So remember this content encoding. If it is there, you need to mention. If it is UTF-8, you can kind of avoid that. It's already by default. In this case, it is not. So I have to go ahead and mention that. So if it is JSON, I'm going to go ahead and say JSON:true. If it is gzip, I have to raise that flag. So I need to call gzip as true. So I hope that makes sense. Now, moving forward, what are the headers that we are going to be providing and how we are going to provide that? So as of now, you can just grab as much header as you need. I'll be grabbing the request header, which are just accept headers. So from all these except to accept language as well, I'll copy that and we'll use that. One extra header I usually pass on in such case would be the browser information that's usually is being checked. There we go. It's going to throw up errors. So all we need to do is wrap all these guys into these quotes. So there we go. Let's quote everything up. And there we go. One more. There we go. And finally this one as well. There we go. Looks nice. And yep, we forgot to put a comma. There we go. So request header. So as much as a header you can grab, just make sure you grab it, save that. And there we go. So this is how you pass on the header information. And there we go. Looks nice. Okay, it's on the next line. So anyways, so this is all what we have got, and we have grabbed this information. Now this response is here. So entire information of the response is being stored. Now comes up the thing which we are using, which is Cheerio, which makes it easier for us to fire the queries, which is almost similar to the jQuery. So we are going to be going still in the async method. I'll go just below here. And now what I can do is I can use the exact same syntax just we saw on the documentation. So let $ handle everything. So we're going to say Cheerio.load, and it grabs or gets all the response here. Once you have that, then the thing that we have created can be helpful for us. So this is the entire structure. Copy that, paste that, ta-da, and nope, it's not gonna work like that. So we're gonna be grabbing, there we go, there we go, there we go. And we definitely need to put up these let or const, however you want to work with that. I usually prefer to work with the const. The more constant you have, the easier life it is. So all these information is up here. All you need to do is push all of this information one by one into this IMDb data. So let's go ahead and do that. So IMDb data has a method of push, which can push up all the information. So we're going to be creating a title or a JSON object with the name title, and that will gonna have the information of title. But since we are using the advanced JavaScript features, we don't need to do title colon title and then saying rating colon rating. We can actually get rid of all of this. We can just simply say title, comma, rating, comma, summary, comma, release date. There we go, save that. So now all the information is being pushed up here. The final thing that we need to do is go outside and just do that. So this asynchronous entire operation is being done. Everything is being pushed into it properly. I'll go outside of this. Only the request and all these parts need to be done asynchronously. So I think that's all good. Now we need to throw all of this information in the CSV file. We can easily do that by pushing this array into the JSON, what is that name? JSON to CSV. Okay, there we go. So we're going to be creating a simple object of it. So we're going to be saying JSON to CSV parser. Again, terrible name. And then we are going to simply go ahead. And why are you having an issue? Am I a bit outside? I'm here and I need to go a bit inside. So I'm going to just cut this out. I'll move inside. There we go. Looks nice now. Okay, looks great. Again, so in that JSON to CSV parser, what we're going to do is we're going to be saying new JSON to CSV. Again, I need to grab this guy here, copy that. And there we go. So JSON to CSV parser is up here, and there we go. Let me check it one more time because these are not easy to define. So let's check it out. JSON to CSV. This is the one. Let's see how this actually works. Because nobody remembers everything. We all check into documentation every single time. Okay, so come on, give me the JavaScript module. Okay, so there we go. So we need to grab a parser. Okay, and then we can parse and send the data. We can use this const CSV. But again, streamline APIs, probably better options or better things are given. Yep, I'm going to go with that only. So all I need to do is grab the parser from the json.csv2. We have already grabbed that, and then I can try to have a CSV by saying this parse, and then I can use my data and ops from it, and we can also console log. Let's try that. Okay, so now we have grabbed this one here already, and then we can simply say, just like the documentation, CSV, and we'll be using this j2, whatever that is, and we can use a .parse method, and inside that we have to provide the data, which is going to be IMDb data. There we go. So now CSV file is ready. All we have to do is write a file. So let's use a fs dot, and I'm going to be using write, come on, suggest me, write file sync. There we go. The first thing that you need to do is provide a path, the name of the file. Then you have to provide the buffer, means the data. And then you have to provide optional encoding as well. So we'll be saying in the same directory, just say, we are going to say it imdb.csv, and we will be providing the data here, which is going to be CSV. We just loaded it up, and the encoding as well, which is going to be UTF-8. Looks okay. And then we might want to grab something on the console log. No, we don't need it. Save this, and let's see if this is going to work, or do we need to polish this a little bit more? Looks good. Let's go ahead and see that. And I'm going to say node index.js. There are a couple of other ways as well. Cannot access fs before initialization. So looks like we haven't even initialized the fs. How is that even possible? My bad. This needs to go like this. Save that. And let's try it one more time. Okay, it says is not a function. Okay, looks like. Okay, so why is this parenthesis going up there? Let's save that. Nope, I'll put a colon. There we go. Now you look nice. Let's try it one more time. And there we go. Finally, something is up here. Remember, there are always going to be errors in your program. If you don't see this part where I solve these errors, there is no all sunshines and rainbow. So we are grabbing the title, rating, summary, and release date. So title is coming up nicely, rating, summary, pretty big, and the release date as well. Now, coming up onto the part where we modify this particular program to grab multiple movies as well. So how we can do that? Let's first convert this movie into movies. And this entire thing needs to now inside a square bracket. And we need to grab a couple of more movies as well. I'm going to hit enter one more time. There we go. Let's grab a couple of more movies. Okay, so probably this one. This is getting very famous in India. I'll copy that. Usually I don't like this much of big string. I would like to shortify that, but anyways. And just for fun stuff, I would love to grab another one. Let's see if there is anything. I don't like these ones. Yeah, that's a good one. Come on, load this up. There we go. Smaller titles, smaller URL. I love that. So I'm going to grab this one here. Now we need to modify this so that we can have a loop through of it. So looping through that is going to be super easy. I'm going to be just selecting this entirety. So this information leads to loop through, and then it will be pushing up all the things in IMDb. So this needs to go ahead and kind of do things again and again till we hit this JSON parsing. Interesting. So I'm going to open this up. I'll select from here till the entire JSON parsing, cut all of this. And now I'm going to write a loop through which I can put all this information to do it. Should be fairly simple. We're going to use just a simple for loop. So we're going to use a for loop, and we're going to say let movie of movies. And did we say that movies here? Yep, movies. There we go. What do you want to do? I want to do exactly what I was doing, but this time I'll be keep on pushing the data inside this. So a new object will be created every single time in theory. Let's go ahead and see that. We have modified it into working many programs. Save that. And let's try to run this one more time. And since we are not appending the data, it should have a fresh start there. There we go. And there we go. This time we are getting the movie, and this movie again. So there we go. Looks nice and easy. So I think I would call it job done. And we have learned so much of the new things in just one single scraper. If you'd like me to talk more about these selectors, because this is the entirety, the essential part of how things are being done, not only in just CSS, in the scraping and a whole bunch of other things. If you would like me to do more such things, let me know in the comment section. I would love to make a separate dedicated video about selectors, and we'll have a lot of fun in that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you up in the next one.